Fine.
Yay, Doro, what's up?
Hey, no, good. I'm getting excited of the tour coming up, and I just came from London. I did a little show with Saxon. They had their anniversary, and and I'm still in Germany, but heading over in 1 week, and then we start rehearsal, and everything is good. Yeah.
Cool. How does it feel when people call you the Queen of Metal?
Oh, Brian, well, I feel like I'm a metalhead. I'm so happy to belong to the metal family, and it's sometimes, it's sometimes so, too much,
Right.
But it's nice when people have nice and positive things to say. That's, always makes me feel good, but it doesn't have to be so grandiose, It's,
Right.
Wow. It's cool, when somebody says, "I like your show" or "I like your song." It's that's cool. So yeah.
Cool. When you were a little girl, did you ever think you'd be in music this long? Over 15 albums and still going strong.
Yeah. No. I always wanted to become a singer since I was 3 years old, and then I had my first band when I was 15, and we didn't even know that we were doing heavy metal. It was so yes, it was just starting up, and no magazines, nothing, and then then I had many bands, and then suddenly we found out we are part of the metal scene, and it was actually great to be there in the beginning and to witness all these bands making it big. And then I had many bands, and then one band was Warlock, and somehow I guess we were at the right time in the right place, and then we did our first record, Burning the Witches, and then suddenly it kind of blew up, and we didn't expect anything. It was just like, wow, it was overwhelming. And then a couple of years later we played the Monsters of Rock Festival. That was in 1986, and I think this was the biggest day in our lives. We didn't know it back then, but everything started with that, and then we went on tour with Judas Priest, and then I came to the United States, which I always wanted to go, and then I had a little promotion tour lined up, and after 2 days I said I want to stay, and then we everything fell into place. We did one of my favorite albums, the Triumph and Agony album, and then I thought, wow, man, I can imagine I'm doing it much longer than I expected. At first we thought maybe 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years maximum, and now it's over 30 years, and I'm still appreciating it every day, and it's awesome, and it's definitely a dream come true.
Wow. Yeah, because I photographed you in the 80s, because I was a staff photographer for Metal Forces magazine. And
in England, the Metal Forces magazine, England?
Yes.
Wow, that was actually my first album cover I've ever gotten. It was Metal Forces England, and then the Art Shock magazine in the Netherlands. And wow, I remember that well. You were at Metal Forces, how cool.
Yeah, I worked for them.
You worked for them. I just, when I told you I was in England at the Saxon show, I met, who did I meet? And he said, I was a writer for Metal Forces. Oh God, I forgot the name right now.
It wasn't
Mike Exley. Mike Exley was always our promoter, but it wasn't him, it was somebody else, and how cool. Wow.
Yeah, and then I photographed you in New Jersey at a legendary theater called the Capitol Theater in Passaic, New Jersey. And, that was with Warlock back then when I photographed you.
Yeah.
And, what a show. I had a great time and stuff like that. You're coming back in March, right? To New Jersey?
Yeah, I'm coming back in March. We start in Philadelphia. I don't know if you're close to Philly, or where are you located?
Yeah, I'm pretty close to Philly. I'm not that far.
Yeah, and it's the legendary Dubs Club. It's small, but it kicks ass.
Right.
It's pretty cool. We played there last October, November there, and then everybody said, "Hey, come back!" And so we're starting there. And Johnny D, my drummer, and Nick Douglas, they're all from Philly. And I said, "Yeah, let's do another Philly show." And
wow.
And I remember Philadelphia was always cool. The Empire, that was.
Oh yes.
Boy, that was one of I think, the best show in the 80s. That was so cool.
Wow. Now, being in the music so long, and being a female-fronted band. Do you feel like you're treated now just like, even though you're a female, like one of the guys?
Yeah, Brian, I always felt like that. I always thought it's not a big deal, when you're a metalhead or when you're a musician. I think it's above that all, and it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. I never felt different or awkward, and I was always treated really good by all the bands we supported, like if it was Judas Priest or Ronnie James Dio or Wasp. It was always cool, even in the 80s. It was sometimes a little bit lonely. I remember the Monsters of Rock Festival in 86. I think there were like maybe 600-700 people backstage, all these bands, and I think I was the only girl. That was a little bit funny, but it never mattered to me, and I think, music is neutral, and I think it's above that, and I never felt that I was treated whatever strange or not as good. No. And with the fans, I always had a good connection right from the start. I think it didn't matter at all, and now I think it's a much better balance. So many female-fronted bands or female musicians. Back then it was just a handful, but now it's good, and but I never thought it was a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you feel like the women are more prominent now in metal and stuff, like Veronica Freeman, Lizzie Hale, bands like that? And I think the females are coming on.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. And not on the last Raise Your Fist record, the one before, the Fear No Evil record. I don't know if you heard that song. It's called Celebrate, the full metal female version. And then I thought, I want to have like everybody singing on it, everybody I was friends with or I grew up with or I felt connected. And then Girls School was singing on it, and Angela of Arch Enemy, and Sabina Klasen of Holy Moses, and Veronica Freeman, and Liv Christine, and Liv of Sister Sin, and so many great girls, Flora Jansen, who is now the Nightwish singer, and it all sounded so great between death metal, hard rock, melodic rock, symphony metal. It was so cool, and I thought, wow. And I think, we are all really connected. We all have a strong bond, a deep friendship going on, and when we played in New York in October, November, then Veronica Freeman of Benedictum and Leda Leon, she came out. They flew out just to celebrate my 30th anniversary, and I thought, boy, that's so cool. And Veronica Freeman, they opened up for us a couple of years ago, and I sometimes took support bands with female singers, and it was really cool. It's sometimes good to share the tour bus with another woman, and it was great. And so I think it's much more balanced. It's awesome. Great, talented female singers or musicians with excellent personalities, and it's no cheap shit like in the 80s. There was sometimes like the sex cells and lots of skin and lace, and there was sometimes it was maybe a little bit too sexy,
right?
In a groupie, cheap way. I think that's not at all anymore in this day and age. I think people don't even remember that.
Right.
But we old cats remember that. Every MTV video had like the naked girls dancing around, and it looked great but looked stupid as hell. None of that.
Wow. Do you feel being on the road all the time and doing music that you missed out on anything in life that you really hope for?
Actually, I think when I was 24, one day I woke up and I thought, well, I think I'm at a crossroad. I have to decide what is most important in my life or what I want to do. And then it was clear to me that I want to do music, and I want to be there for the fans and give it my all and be totally dedicated to metal and whatever it takes. And that was it. And then and I was so happy with that decision. I never missed anything. I think having a family or having a husband, it wouldn't be right to them when I would be always on the road, and I'm totally wholeheartedly just here for the fans to make the fans happy, to give them power and empower them, and and give it my all every day, and I treat every show like it could be the last show. So I think you can't have that when you have responsibility for your family,
right?
Either. So I was always happy, and I never felt I was missing out on anything. And I love kids when the fans, they sometimes bring their young girls and boys, and it's so cool. And then when they see us on stage, usually after a show, then everybody says, "Oh, we want to make a band or want to play the drums or sing," and that's cool. And I enjoy that when the fans bring their kids and when they feel maybe inspired. But my own, I think, I never even came close to get serious about it. It was always the record, the next DVD, the next tour.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really totally fulfilled. It's a bigger family, not the close one somewhere. It's the whole world. I feel like, my closest friends are the fans.
Cool.
Closer than my closest friends, I must say.
Wow. So I guess you would feel, you must be blessed, or, not having to work like a 9-to-5 job or whatever, because like most people can't stand their job, but I guess you must be one of the lucky ones that get to do exactly what they love.
Yeah, that's right. I did a normal job. I was a graphic artist, and I know how it is. And then usually I went from 8 to 5, and then going to rehearsal and never sleeping for years and years. And then when we hopped on the Judas Priest tour, that was when I quit my job. But I know how it's like, and I must say, doing music is so rewarding, it's so great. But on the other hand, it's hardcore. It's hardcore. I think. Sometimes you definitely have to, hang in there, hold on, and if it wouldn't be for the fans, I couldn't have done it, because it's like any business, there's some shady cats,
Wow.
So you sometimes have to deal with a lot, which is very uncomfortable, and I think, but the fans, and I can take it. But it's in every job has probably good and bad sides, but music definitely, and you get sometimes like into situations where you think, oh my God, I hope I can survive it. We're sometimes really close, even in some countries when you tour in some countries where it's like, not so organized, and then it was sometimes really hardcore. Yeah.
Cool. Well, 30 years, in music and stuff like that. Is there anything that you really wanted to do that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Oh yeah, I would like to play in some places where it's impossible.
Wow.
Especially for women, right now at this time and age, it's like heavy. I would love to play in some countries where it's absolutely impossible.
Right.
Yeah, that would be nice. I've never been to India. We always wanted to tour India, and I know they have a very hardcore young metal scene, and I know it because I'm in the Wacken Foundation, and it's like the Wacken Foundation supports young musicians and young bands from all over the world, and I'm actually the only musician in the how do you call it, a committee. There's some lawyers, some publishers, a producer and stuff, and I'm the only musician. So I always, of course, I would never say no when somebody says, well, we need help with our demo or tour. It's like financial help you can ask for, and and there's a lot of stuff going on in India. And I thought, man, how cool. And in some countries there's a small but die-hard metal scene. It's so nice to see it, growing. And so in some countries where it was impossible before, I would love to go and then bring the music to the people. And but to be honest, all my dreams came true already. Working with the finest people and my heroes, and it's great. And I hope I have 30 more records in me and 30 more years, and as long as the fans want to see us.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Well, congratulations, 30 years. Raise your fist, and you know, amazing career. I mean, you can't ask for much more. You know, so congratulations.
And there's a DVD coming out of the 30th anniversary, the celebrations of all over the world. We did some gigs, of course. Wacken is on there, and then in New York and Düsseldorf, my hometown, and Brazil, and so the DVD will come out later this year in autumn, and that shows all the 30-year festivities and many guests, like, you know, many guests you all know, like, you know, many of the new wave of British, which was my most influential thing.
Cool. Well, congratulations, and thanks for calling in today, and I wish you the best. Would you like to say anything to fans out there?
Yes. Hey, my dear fans, I love you to death. You know that, forever, and I'm so happy to go on tour again. It's the second leg of the American tour. I hope everybody feels like coming out. All the diehard fans I know I will see. I'm so happy to see you guys, and maybe some new fans. And and stay hard through a steel. Keep metal alive. I love you, and keep on rocking.
Thanks a lot, Doro.
Thank you, Brian. Bye. Have a good one, and see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks a lot.
Another gig. Okay.
Great.
You.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.